yourself, because I think that sometimes sound bites about people, perhaps taken out of context sometimes, can create a very distorted view of what a person really thinks. What do you think, looking back over the last few weeks in particular, what do you think have been the biggest misconceptions about you?
Well, I think there's a left agenda to silence anyone that goes against the agenda. Tupac told me back in the days, you had to get your money right and then you go to war. So I'm going to war. I don't have endless resources. I only have maybe, honestly, only maybe $120 million in my account. But what I'm not gonna let happen is I'm not gonna let my kids take over Yeezy someday and have a boardroom telling them what to do and talking behind their back. I'm not gonna let that happen to my children. So I have to fight multiple times within that context. So Hollywood's job is to frame things, and they allow what context, what content is accepted and what's not. We have our thoughts, everyone has thoughts and ideas, and then people try to manipulate your thoughts and ideas. In order for humanity to move forward, we have to be free to think and then to actualize. I like the word actualize better than execute. If you think about execute's a negative word, actualize would be more positive, except for the fact that it has the word act in it, and everyone's an actor, especially in Hollywood. I'm like top 5 writers in human history, so I really get into the power of words, and I feel very akin to Capote, Freud, Nikola Tesla, Da Vinci, Matisse, more Matisse than Picasso, more African Cubans.
Hey guys, welcome to Green Candor, where we pursue truth and a higher understanding of politics, relationships, culture, and narcissism. You guys, today I was looking at all of the above watching the Kanye West video. Is Kanye cuckoo, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Or is he just a really deep brother who's a little erratic at times? What do you think? Here's where I agree with Kanye in the beginning of that first clip and some of the things that he said throughout the interview, that Hollywood has been devastating to the African American community. Most people get their images throughout the world about Black people in America, including our fellow Americans, get the image of us from Hollywood in music. A lot of those things have been skewed with misinformation and the lowest element of our culture and community. So he was in an argument or trying to start a discussion about the industry in Hollywood and how it impacts the African American community in the world. It is my own personal belief that it's not only devastating to the Black community, it's devastating to the overall society, and it pushes agendas covertly, consistently, always have, and probably always will. Now, Kanye was attacking the upper echelon of Hollywood executives who happen to be under a certain ethnicity, a certain culture. And he did it in a very direct and reckless way. But you see, although he said a lot of stuff, I mean, it was a lot of word salad. And I was watching this I watched it twice, over 2 hours of my life, to really see if this man is a narcissist, in my opinion, and to examine and see, is Kanye mentally ill? What's going on with him? Because none of us could argue that he's not a brilliant man. And I thought one of the, and I know I'm going to digress here a little bit, but let me add this before we go any further. I know he is known for his musical genius, but one of the things that he stated is that Hollywood whenever they interview him, be it social media or mainstream media, never give him kudos and credit for being a business tycoon and a brilliant businessman. And that's fair. I mean, think about it. Whenever you hear Ye's name, or the once known as Kanye West, when you hear them talk about him, they say a musical genius, the rapper Kanye West. They never say the business tycoon. And what he was able to do from a man starting with nothing. That's what's so great about this country, that I don't understand why people don't grasp that. But that's a whole different show. But he came from nothing, damn near the gutter up. Now, don't get me wrong. He came from a middle-class family with educated parents, but he certainly started with zero and became a billionaire. A man who was just writing lyrics and creating amazing bars and dropping those to become a billionaire. And there's so many other artists from the hip hop world, especially the first wave of hip hop, first and second wave, when it was still a masculine music. And I'm not saying it was all good, because it certainly wasn't, but the engine behind that were men. They weren't emasculated, like, in my opinion, like some of the hip hop artists today. And most of the hip hop music throughout its genre or throughout its history has been devastating and caused a lot of harm, just as much as it has caused good. And Kanye was speaking to why that happens and who is the engine behind that. Now, we can all agree or disagree in the way that he delivered the message, but his message was straightforward. It was erratic. It was a little cuckoo, cuckoo. You know, the brother goes all over the place when you're talking to him. But here's the biggest takeaway for me. I still am not 100% certain that he's not a narcissist. Now, when I mean a narcissist, I don't mean someone who is concerned about the way that they look, someone who is opinionated and arrogant and has a big ego. If that's how you term a narcissist, he's definitely a narcissist, and so is most of the people on this planet, especially successful people. I'm talking about people who intentionally and covertly try to hurt people, who live and thrive off of hurting others. I don't think he's that type of person. I think his wife is, his ex-wife rather, and that's where we go into this. See, I think most of and it's my opinion, I'm not a therapist, I'm not an expert, I'm just a guy, I'm just a talking head on YouTube that thinks that the Kardashian women are Jezebels, all except one, maybe. The oldest daughter from Bruce Jenner. I don't even know her name. That's how bad. I've never seen a full episode of the Kardashians. I'd rather set myself on fire than watch that show, and I haven't. So I don't even know. I couldn't tell. I know Kim and Courtney and the two little ones. I don't know their names. Jenner, I don't know. But my point is that from what I've seen in their relationships, and studying Kim and the mom, and then how the men are when they leave those relationships. Name one man that has left a relationship with one of those women in a healthy state, that was better off for his journey of spending time with the Kardashians. And also the information that's coming out on Kim. Come on, man. Come on. I'm better at determining narcissist women than I am men, because those are the majority of women that I've been surrounded by, not only in my own family, but in past relationships. But nonetheless, the reason I'm bringing up Kim in terms of his interview is because it was 100% crystal clear to me that this brother is still attached to her. You want to talk about trauma bonding. He has not detached even this much from that woman. And that can make you mentally insane. Take a listen to what he said.
Next subject.
Can I ask you something? Let me ask you something else. Yeah, I want to ask you about your family.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned families there. A lot of stuff has been written about you and your family. A lot of it fueled by you, by Kim, by others. Where are things now with your family? What is your relationship like with Kim, with your kids?
Kim has Zionist media handlers surrounding her, all in and out her Hulu TV show, all in and out her family, all in or out the house that I created for my family. But God is alive. The devil is a defeated foe, and Kim is a Christian woman, and she's not here just to have content up on adult channels. She's not here just to have that last Interview magazine cover. If you look at the two Interview magazine covers, look at the one when I was there and look at the one when I'm not there. And that's the reason why.
The Interview magazine cover you're talking about, I think, is the one where she was basically semi-naked in front of the American flag. And I thought that was pretty distasteful, actually. It was about the American dream. And I thought, well, if that's the American dream, we're all screwed. I mean, in America.
And I agree with that. And I didn't feel the platform to voice my opinion because it's always like, hey, this is your kid's mother. But it's time where the leaders, like, I'm still the priest of that home, Chris. I'm still the priest of that home. They want to make it this matriarch society, all that, and, but I am the priest of this home, and God is alive. I am the living Robert Kardashian, and I'm going to stand up for what God would want as a Christian. And then people say as a Christian, oh, you're not supposed to curse. You're not supposed to have righteous indignation. But I do. Christians had swords also. Christians got guns. I tell you that. So.
But do you talk to Kim? I mean, there have been reports, that you and Kim don't really talk at the moment. She's distancing herself from you because of the stuff you've been saying was getting controversy. Is that true? But do you talk to her? Are you still in touch with each other?
Wait a second, don't you think it's like funny to like make a joke out of stuff sometimes? Don't you think like God has a sense of humor?
Of course.
But watch this. God, when I got married, I bought this house. I did this tour and spent all the money I had on this house to like surprise Kim and give her this house that she wanted, that Lisa Marie Presley used to own. And then I got the house, and then I put all this money into renovation. And then there goes the neighborhood. Drake moves down the street 5 blocks. And that's when I knew God was funny. But watch, this is where God is even funnier. Here goes like Louis C.K. part 2 level, because Louis C.K. is the funniest man alive. Uncancel him now, right? And he was funnier before he's canceled because all he would do is type of jokes that you'd get canceled on, right? I got an office outside of Crenshaw, like in an opportunity zone. And this office, 57,000 square foot office, is the one that Tucker Carlson came to visit me at. And I look out the window, and whose office is being built, a brand new one? The Skims office. It's like, who's writing this stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like, God is funny. So that's the thing. We always got to be like, we got to be funny. We got to have a sense of humor, like,
But let me ask you.
There's a lot. Yeah.
But are you sad that you're getting divorced? Are you sad the relationship came to an end?
That happened 2 years. We got the divorce 2 years.
Yeah.
Are
you actually?
We've been got divorced. What are you talking?
Yeah. I mean, let me rephrase that. Are you sad that you're no longer together? That you're divorced?
We'll always be together. She dresses exactly like me. What do you mean? Like, my kids are me. There's no person that she'll ever get with that will influence her more than God and then her priest on earth, which was me. Our children, way too early before they can even make their own decisions about their life.
You make some very interesting points again. Just to clarify one thing, though, you are actually divorced, are you? Because my understanding was that you weren't actually divorced yet.
You know, I ask God the same question some mornings. Am I divorced, God? am I divorced? Because I might be divorced on paper, but I'm not divorced of the idea of being the protector of not only this person who is so influential. Imagine Kim making all of her decisions that she does publicly. You know, grown folks' business is grown folks' business. Never know what could happen with a little sippy or whatever. But, you know, all the decisions that she makes publicly being based on an audience of one. And Pierce, what audience do you think I'm saying that is?
Well, you.
No, not me. For us as Christians, right? Who is our audience? We have an audience of one.
Well, you mean God.
God. So picture this world, envision this world. Here's another one. This is past what I'm saying about having the heads of the football teams and the basketball teams and the music industry opening up their contracts the way I do, right? Picture the most influential woman on the planet, which is Kim Kardashian, right? And I got this one thing I want to definitely say in the interview. Picture the most influential person on the planet, the most influential woman on the planet, performing in public only for that audience of one, for God. Imagine the overwhelmingly positive effect that will have on the planet. And mark these words. It will happen someday.
Okay.
And I had this, like, you know, of course I'm divorced, and this is like a funny thing I thought. Being that her name is no longer West, and my name is no longer Ye, being that her name is no longer West, and my name is now only Ye, if we were ever to be together again, what would our name be? Kim Ye.
Would you like that?
Everything is up to God, and God has proven to me many times that it's not about what I want or what I would like. It's just up to Him.
You see, he's still there. He's still in it. He still has hopes of building a relationship with Kim. And he's angry. Can you imagine? Just imagine this, you guys. You're a billionaire and you can't get the woman or keep the woman that you love. That is a serious wound, you guys. You see, I think that some of his, let me back up a bit. I think the first thing that has Kanye off balance was the loss of his mother. And there's some anger there, and there's some disappointment, in my opinion, that he didn't deal with. And that's when we saw his first real series of erratic behavior. He's always been opinionated, gonna say what he say. That's Kanye. And I like that in a man to a certain degree. I think you have to control it. But a man that won't speak his mind, I don't really, I don't want you to be boastful when you do it. But I like a man that is 100, that keeps it dead, as the kids say, dead ass. But nonetheless, I think his mother was the first serious wound that Kanye hasn't dealt with. We all have to deal with a tune-up, an inner tune-up. And when you have that kind of money and that kind of ambition, you can head off to the races trying to build new empires, new businesses, without doing those inner tune-ups. Just like you have to keep the body tuned up. You have to keep that head in check. And when you go through traumatic experience like the loss of a loved one or emotional abuse and dealing with crazy makers, you've got some things that you got to take a look at. And often as ambitious men and alpha males and men who want to conquer and build and do things, we run to the next project before we do the inner work. And when I say the inner work, before we go to therapy, before we go to hypnotherapy or talk therapy, or any kind of therapy from journaling to tapping to NLP, no one knows what will work. Only you can determine that. I just recently did some tune-ups and found out I had to change a lot of things that I was doing. And there's nothing wrong with that. Every person has to do that. And the sad thing is, when you're the caliber of Kanye West, of Ye West, you have such a bubble, so many yes people around you, so many applauds, that you don't feel that you have to tune yourself up and take a look. You think that's the world's job to meet your requirements. And I don't think this ends well, you guys. And I hate to say that. I don't think it ends well. If Kanye is fortunate enough to have at least one person who really loves him and cares about him and has the courage to speak to him in truth, and he has the humility, which is hard when you're winning all the time. When life has always been good and you've just been dunking on life, that humility is hard to come by. But if he finds that humility, he may come out of this, but I don't know if he can. And I think his ambitions to be president. Come on, man. Are you high? I'm not saying he can't. I just won't vote for the brother. I wish him well, but come on, man. But hey, in today's world, you can wake up tomorrow or in 2024 and read President West makes his inaugural. Oh, but this is the world that we're in. So never say never, man. Never say never. Anything is possible in today's world. But I don't think he'll get it. I don't think it's possible. And I think he's dug himself a bigger hole than he knows. And that's where I see that his attachment to Kim is preventing him from seeing the blind spots. He doesn't see the blind spots. And a man that is so strategic and knows how to move that chessboard to the level that he does, that's concerning. Because he's playing for keeps. There's a hell of a lot of money on the table. There's a hell of a lot of bridges that he's burning. And I don't think he realizes it because his mind is skewed for the love of Kim. And when you're chasing a woman that doesn't love you, any man out there listening, when a woman doesn't love you, walk away. I don't know why these men of Kanye West and Will Smith's caliber cannot just walk the away and let it go. I'm going to hold on for dear life. She's just a sweet little angel, Kim. That's my lady. She's just floating around, chasing rainbows, butterflies, and unicorns. That's all that she do. She just shitting rainbows, butterflies, and unicorns. We become jaded as men. We buy into the illusion of our wives are the persons that we're dating. That's in here. It's not out here. We make that shit up in our heads. We really do. And they pretend to be that. See, Kanye's not attached to Kim without her keeping him there. I'd bet the farm on that. She's stringing that brother along. He's her plaything. That's her puppet. She's stringing him along. Make no mistake about it. And that's what makes this so dangerous. Because he's been played once. Just think of all the things that this woman did to this man publicly. The humiliation, the stress she caused with his children, and the stress that she's still causing. When that all comes to fruition, in his mind, when he comes to the conclusion that that's what's been going on, and he sees it clearly, where there's no doubt in his mind about how he's been being played, that stuff makes you crazy and dangerous and angry, where your anger just exudes out of your body and everything that you do. When you can't get closure or justice or revenge, and you're a fighter in life, you're a warrior, be it on business, be it in a cage, be it in life, and you cannot get that revenge, which is justice, it burns your soul and it causes you to behave erratic and to make stupid statements and do stupid things. You know how I know this? Because I was the winner of the first prize of this shit. I've lived it. But he's in a bubble. And he has enough money to destroy himself and enough money from the things that he said, and it's already happening, for a lot of vultures to come out. And I think he's disillusioned that a lot of people around him and a lot of people in the media and in public want him to win. And brother, just like every man in the world, it's a very competitive world out there. Ain't no friends on these streets. Everybody's your friend when you're winning, but when you're losing, people celebrate that shit. And I don't know if Kanye is still the caliber of man who can take a shot, who can survive the cruelty of the downfall. And if his mind is capable of staying sane and not doing anything crazy to himself or others when that downfall comes, because it's knocking. Every man that goes through a divorce and every man who's dealing with the narcissist ex, like I believe he is in for a shitstorm. And pray for this brother, y'all, because I'm not Nostradamus. I don't know everything. But what I saw from that interview, Kanye West, is in trouble. And I hope I eat my words a year from now, 2 years from now, or whatever. But I don't think so. That's all I got for you guys today. I appreciate you stopping by. Think about it. Check out the interview. I have a link connected below if you haven't seen the full interview. And tell me your thoughts. And if you've seen this interview, tell me your thoughts. Am I wrong? Do you think he's still attached to Kim? Do you think that's what's making him so erratic and off balance? Let me know. Again, I appreciate you guys for stopping by, and I'll catch you on the next video. Until then, God bless. Peace. Be well. Hey guys, it's Darren. Here's a couple more videos I think you might enjoy. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share this video. Thanks for stopping by. I deeply appreciate it.